provides nearly 50,000 rides home each year throughout Wisconsin. In Brown County alone, that number is roughly 4,000 annually. Funded in large part through a state surcharge paid by those convicted of drunk driving, we partner with the State Department of Transportation and supply matching funds to give free rides home from Tavern League member establishments to those who need it. We knew this program would be depleted during such a colossal event in our area, and this was a significant logistical undertaking by the Brown County Tavern League. 40 vans, nearly 60,000 miles, with a potential footprint of over 75,000 commuting safely around the area. But the question remained, was this possible? Thanks to the efforts of those listed behind me, we were able to present free transportation in the greater Green Bay area in an effort to prevent drunk driving and reduce traffic congestion in our community. The NFL Draft Safe Ride Shuttle is the first inner-city safe ride program of its kind, with 40 15-passenger vans running 6 different routes in the greater Green Bay area from the 23rd through the 27th of April next year. Routes will range from West Green Bay, Howard Suamico, Broadway Ashland, De Pere, downtown, Maine University, and East Green Bay. We're also looking for people willing to operate these vans during the draft. Drivers can make $20 an hour, not including gratuity, and can apply online through our website. When available, we are granted accessibility on the NFL One Pass app, as well as Discover Green Bay's website, so visitors can easily find out service. With wraps on the vans and trifolds in key locations, it will broaden the strength of awareness for this service in our area. And of course, those of you here today, thank you for taking interest in a program that will provide free transportation for people to enjoy our community responsibly. Today, we're pleased and grateful to Mayor Genrich and the City of Green Bay for their partnership in this effort to ensure folks are safe during the upcoming draft. We thank the Mayor for his support of the economic impact of the Tavern League and efforts to keep the community safe during this exciting event in April. In the end, this is a collaboration between the Tavern League of Wisconsin, the City of Green Bay and area communities, area law enforcement, the State of Wisconsin's Department of Transportation, Discover Green Bay, and of course the Green Bay Packers and the NFL. All of these groups have voiced their support for this effort. These are community leaders from public and private sectors coming together to promote the Green Bay area while ensuring public safety so everyone can have a great time seeing for themselves what the Green Bay area has to offer. We at the Tavern League will continue to work with organizers and volunteers to ensure shuttle service from different areas within our community back to area hotels. Routes will be agreed upon and promoted in the coming months. Additional businesses have reached out to provide more support, which is very welcomed and appreciated. Again, this is another great story of community leaders collaborating to help make a once-in-a-lifetime event a success. And we thank Mayor Genrich and the City of Green Bay for taking a major role in helping bring this effort together. Eric?
All right, well, Don said it really, really well. I just want to thank him and Tara for all their work, the Brown County Tavern League, the Tavern League of Wisconsin, for pulling this together. You know, a lot of us, myself included, you know, had some concerns about how we're going to move people around this community for such a large-scale event, and I think this is a fantastic solution that really complements a lot of what the NFL and the Packers are obviously pulling together with you know, some of the formal options connected to the draft itself. But to have this kind of supplemental transportation option is huge from a safety perspective, which is obviously the primary purpose of the Safe Ride program. But in addition to that, and from the city's perspective, there's the added benefit to our hotels, our taverns, our other businesses that are going to be able to direct their patrons to this service. So it's going to be a tremendous way for people to enjoy the community, get to different community resources, our businesses, our organizations that are really looking forward to taking advantage of the draft and putting our best foot forward. I also just want to recognize Alyssa Prophet, who is on our city council, is a great supporter of the draft and of our community at large. Alder Johnson, who I believe was going to be here as well, and he might pop in a few minutes. He's been a great supporter of this initiative, was in a recent meeting with Tara and Don and I and a bunch of city staff advocating for this initiative. So this is an obvious thing for us to be a part of, be supportive of, and we're happy to lend our support. Mentioning our Common Council members, I also just want to call out the fact that our Common Council has set aside some tourism support dollars that are coming into play with this. So we're going to be able to set aside $15,000 to supplement those efforts. I believe Tara and Don are still in the process of building out some of those sponsorships, so would certainly encourage other community organizations and potentially some other local partners to take a look at that and potentially offer some additional support. Lastly, I want to thank a few additional city staff. So our police department, led by Chief Davis, of course, they're going to be helping out with some of the background checks associated with vetting those drivers. Patty Kiewitz, who is our transit director, has been really helpful in working with Don and kind of, literally mapping out where some of those routes would be most effective. So want to thank them. Lastly, something that I've been talking about, actually just had a recent meeting with Captain Allen from our police department, who's kind of spearheading a lot of the public safety efforts in collaboration with partner public safety entities within the area. He had just said in recent conversations with the NFL, they've been blown away by the members of the community that are stepping up without being asked, right? And that's not surprising to us. We recognize we're the smallest city in the NFL, but far and away have the biggest heart, right? And that's been demonstrated time and time again. But with this effort, the draft in particular, he just said the NFL has been blown away by the number of people who are just kind of proactively raising their hand, being willing to help out. And this is, maybe the most prominent example of something like that. So really just want to thank, again, Don and Tara, Tavern League of Wisconsin, Brown County Tavern League, and all the other folks that I've already noted for stepping up and making a program like this possible. So with that, I'll turn things over to Tara Hansen, the president of Brown County Tavern League.
Good morning. Tara Hansen, I'm the president of the Brown County Tavern League. This idea started when I had a problem at my bar, which is State Street Pub, during the last playoff games. I had received a call from my bartender asking me what should she do, that people were waiting for Ubers or Safe Rides and ride shares, that the inflated prices and 3-hour waits with a very small playoff game. When I heard about the draft, I thought that this is going to be a major problem with what we need to do and come up with a solution for this problem. I spoke to Don Meldy, he's the 6th District Director of the Tavern League, and he worked with the Department of Transportation to obtain this grant. Rob Heinrich, owner of Access, he's our board of directors. He secured our vans and created QR codes that we are using to hire the drivers and that will be on the iPass site with routes for our shuttles. Ben Burnett, owner of the Watering Hole, obtained radios and is working with a committee for fundraising for the shuttles. Our entire board of directors pulled together and made our idea become reality. The Tavern League of Wisconsin, state level, supported our idea and helped us navigate to get us where we are today. Today, I want to personally thank the mayor for him supporting our idea and assisting us in making this a reality. We really have great leaders in this community, and it shows what teamwork can do. Green Bay Police Department is assisting us with questions that we have had and in support of our program as well. This is a community coming together to reduce drunk driving during a once-in-a-lifetime event. Our visitors and regulars alike will be able to experience this event and our businesses safely. Thank you.
We can do Q&A here, or if you guys want, we can break off an individual, whatever you guys feel comfortable.
Have those routes been, is there a way for people to look at them already, or are they still being decided? Do we know how often these shuttles will run yet?
Yeah, so there's going to be 40 shuttles running in 6 different routes, and I don't want to say anything too specific because even the NFL is working on ways to logistically plan transportation. I'm on the NFL's drafts transportation committee, and as I get information from them, it'll help us navigate where exactly those routes will stop. But overall, working with Patty Kiewitz and Green Bay Metro, we do have 6 routes that are chosen to do loops around the area. Different amounts of vans running in 1-hour loops, but if there's 6 to 10 on a route, then there's only stops like once every few minutes. There'll be a van that'll be there. So.
will this be the shuttle mechanism for the draft, or is there going to be more?
Sure. So we're not sure exactly how they're going to navigate people around the area. So that's why we wanted to step in front and provide this service, mostly because we were worried about getting people back to their houses and hotels safely. So creating this program will help make sure that we are supplementing any other transportation direction that the NFL seeks to take.
But this will be available to non-bar customers, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're just going to run in loops and go back to hotels from key areas of commerce, restaurants, bars, back to hotels.
Just to clarify, this will be free thanks to grants and fundraising?
Yep, so we were able to do this under the state Tavern League Safe Ride Grant, where we provide matching funds to be able to accompany this through the Department of Transportation.
Do you know roughly estimated what, if this wasn't free, what would this cost?
A lot.
Are you able to share like that goal that you guys had for the grants and fundraising? What the goal
Yeah,
was
I could
there?
share a little. I mean, it was going to range somewhere around the 200 range. Plus or minus, we don't know what gas prices are, and the van prices will always change, and there's a lot of components that we're still navigating as we're moving forward with it. But getting the yes and being able to put all the numbers together was a great feat.
Obviously, Brown County is the epicenter of where the draft is happening. I mean, it's right here. Have you been working with other communities? You know, people will be staying in Appleton and Oshkosh and all around northeast Wisconsin. Have you established partnerships maybe with other communities so they can do the same kind of thing if people are, you know, staying further away than just being in Brown County?
Yeah, thank you. A couple of communities have reached out and said, "How did you do this?" Which was, great, and I shared with them exactly what I put together. But for us to be able to go that far out isn't feasible. So we're trying to take care of everybody in our area, and I think you'll see other municipalities start to take that form and try to get means of transportation around their individual communities to make sure everybody travels safely.
Will there be, and this may be a question for the mayor, will there be other shuttle services during the draft also, or is this going to be?
Yeah, I think it's. I'll let Eric handle this one.
So we're going to have our Metro Transit, of course, operating not exactly as it does regularly, because with some of the road closures, that will be modified. But we're certainly going to be moving people, from our key areas, especially downtown, but also Military Avenue and some other nodes, effectively towards the draft footprint. Not to call him out, but Aaron Popke is here from the Packers, and so if you had specific questions about draft transportation, he would be the right person to answer some of that stuff. But this is not to supplement, and certainly our Metro Transit is not to displace anything that's being planned for transportation associated with the draft. They've got some pretty detailed plans that they're still working up, but all working together and make sure we're not stepping on any toes and really just complementing efforts that are planned.
But there'll be an abundance of shuttle services.
Yeah, I mean, technically speaking, our Metro Transit does not operate like a shuttle, but we're going to be making some route changes that make sense given the scale of the event that's going to be happening over in this neighborhood to make sure that we get people here effectively.
Good. On game days, I think Metro provides free transportation. Will it be free transportation then for this too, or will you be charging?
We got to work out some of those details. I don't think it's the event itself is very different than a game day. There's obviously the hours of operation are much extended in comparison to a game day, so some of those details are going to be a bit different. But we're very effectively, I think, planning for the event itself. And as I mentioned, Patty Kiewitz is collaborating with Don on some of that route planning. She does an excellent job of figuring out how to operate some of these services, and so we feel like we're going to be well prepared.
You hit on this briefly, but obviously safety a top priority with this, but you also talked about eliminating traffic congestion. Do you think that this will have some power to cut down on people taking out vehicles, rental cars, things like that, and private cars?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Tara was talking about the difficulty some of her patrons experienced with hailing a ride after a playoff game. I think that's really going to be the key advantage. I think there's going to be a ton of people that are going to be using Ubers, Lyfts, Metro Transit, carpooling, doing all kinds of things. So from our perspective, given the fact that we know that there's going to be that kind of logistical challenge, we just wanted to add whatever we could to that toolbox and feel like this is a really nice thing to be able to offer.
Do you know, are there going to be kind of piggybacking off of that with safety? Obviously, with these events, sometimes people can overconsume alcohol, and are there going to be people on these buses kind of managing rowdiness? Are there going to be police on the bus?
Yeah, so we are working with Green Bay Area Police to have instant contact in case somebody is too belligerent. Same as any ride-sharing program, there's always that risk. We're going to train our drivers with meetings leading up to the event to be proactive in displaying these types of situations. And responsible beverage serving is something that we preach to all of our members, and to make sure that everybody's handling and celebrating the draft responsibly.
Now, no part of this sounds like it was an easy process. Can you maybe walk us through what was the most difficult part of trying to get all of these collaborations to come together? Was it the route planning? Was it the timing? Was it just simply getting everybody in a room and saying, hey, I think we really think we should do this?
No, it's great. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago we had another way. We created a shuttle system to bring people from taverns that have safe ride programs so they can get from bar to bar and get a free ride home so they can leave their keys at home. I put that together, gosh, was that 8 years ago? No? And it ran, there was a guy, Galen, that ran it for a few years. But having that plan in place, I kind of just transitioned that over, sitting with Tara, Ben, Rob, created a war room as to, okay, what are we going to need? Let's put some extra first aid kits here. Let's have coolers full of water that people can have when they're on the bus. Or I say bus, but they're vans. They're 12 to 15 passenger, 40, 150 vans. So yeah, no, it took about 2 months to get a proposal worthy enough to get to the Department of Transportation to see if it would qualify for Safe Ride. If not, we were aiming to take a look at NHTSA and see if there's funding available on a national level for a program like this. But luckily it fell within our Safe Ride parameters, and we're able to utilize the funds that are available there to get people back to hotels safely.
How much was your grant?
Right now we're not pinpointing it right now until we put the rest of the estimates and everything together, which is still ongoing. But the money that we raise, we're going to use towards the matching funds that we're going to apply towards that grant. Anything over, we're always great at giving to our community. We're actually having some pretty heavy donations for Christmas, and Tara can kind of touch into that a little bit that we're doing. But yeah, we look forward to giving back and making sure that our roads are safe and that our patrons are safe for the draft. Okay, thank you very much, you guys.
Thanks, everybody.